What? Hey. I don't know if this is gonna work. What's going on? Oh wow, that's really, really hot. Huh. We're live, but my face is insanely hot. Like, color temperature wise. Can everybody hear me? Boom, 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 boom. Wow, that is so ridiculous. How hot that is. What's up? What's my favorite pasta? Hold on. Let's go. Let me get this set up. Just a wee bit light. Yeah, I know. I'm way. Let's see what we can do here. So, hold on. This is on. All right. Boom. There we go. Oh, snap. Can you hear me okay? Is my can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm glad you're here. So am I. Let's do it. Let's get. This is my first time doing it this way, guys. Yes, volume is solid. So let's do this. That lighting though, what's my favorite pasta? Hello, you're funny. Let's do, can I bring this over there? Does that work? I guess it doesn't matter really. Nah, here's what we'll do. Here's what we'll do, everybody. I know what we're gonna do. This is gonna go here. Let's open up. All right. Let's open it up at the new studio. Ho! Still haven't figured out this. There's ways I'm gonna fine tune this Skypey thing, obviously. But we got this working, everybody. And I want to. Volume is solid, good volume, but I'm mirrored again. I don't know what that means. Lighting is solid with the waves. Yeah, it's different. It's a different thing. So how I'm doing this right now is I actually am using my iPhone to record this because I still haven't figured out. I had the software Wirecast. Anyway, it's really, my shirt's on backwards. My face is a little dark, but that's because I'm brooding. It's my soul is dark. What's up, Marcia Smith, Matt Sevilla, Andrew Sweet, PSX Box Gamer. Hey, Grandma, I don't know you, but I put my life savings on corporate Dems ringing the 2020 election. That's a safe bet. If Vegas is taking bets on that, I would suggest doing it. Yes, the corporate Dems are, they're doing what they always do. Nothing that they're doing is should catch any of us off guard. That's what they're doing. So I feel like I just did that video on the DNC at the behest of our good friend Tom Perez. Repealed. They've signed a thing 2 months ago saying they were not going to take any money from the oil lobby, and then like last week, Tom Perez, 30-2, voted in favor of it. Unreal. I already had a vegan smoothie, but thank you for asking. Trying to be funny, you look great, but even better in person. Ah, you're nice. I love the randomness of whether it will be reversed. I have no control over the thing. I don't know. I don't understand why you're seeing a backward image. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I want to say this. Thank you to everybody that came out to shows in Seattle. It was awesome. I met people who came to the Political Vigilante Live, which was wonderful. And then people who came to the stand-up night with my friend Mike Schmidt and I really appreciate you guys. It was cool. We had about 50 people, you know, in this cool little theater, and it was a great show. And it's awesome when you guys support the live shows like that. So we're doing more live shows. Ron Placone and I are setting up live shows November 2nd in Sacramento, November 3rd in San Francisco. We're looking, that's a Friday and a Saturday. We're looking maybe for another theater or venue. We might use the same one for Sunday, doing a Political Vigilante Live, because I did it live, and you know, I cut up clips from the live show on the YouTube, which has been great, and I had the whole video. If you're a $10 Patreon supporter, you can watch the whole show from Seattle, even my stand-up set. It's great. So, and we did the game show thing was so much fun, and people really liked it. The two people on stage were great, and it was a lot of fun. I want to do more of those in the live shows. I want to try to get to doing one live show a month if I can, is what I'd like to do. Out on the road, preferably, but I'm going to do some in LA because they're a lot of fun, and it's cool getting everybody together. Like, this is cool. This is an online community, but imagine if we, it was so funny. At the Political Vigilante Live in Seattle, a bunch of people showed up alone, and they all start talking, and then they're talking to each other and becoming friends and engaging with each other. That's what I want. I want to build a progressive community where we're exchanging ideas and, oh man, I work for this organization, or you got to back this candidate, and everyone's like learning because we're so starved because the mainstream media doesn't want us to have any information. Also, all the videos that I'm dropping them on Dailymotion as well, since we're watching Google, you know, do what they're doing. If I haven't spent a lot of time on Dailymotion, if Dailymotion does a live stream platform like this, I'm going to start doing this super chat on Dailymotion so that we don't give any more money to Google, because they take a percentage of the super chats. I appreciate when you guys do spend the money here, because you are supporting the show. And I do get paid from YouTube. The ads that play in front of my videos, I get paid from them. So I understand some of you are like, Graham, I can't give you money on the super chat because I don't want Google taking any of the money. And I totally get it. That's where I'd say go to Patreon. Patreon takes right around a little less than 10%. So every dollar you give, 90 cents of it goes right to me in the show, which is why we have this cool studio. Like this whole setup, you can't see the whole thing here, but the lights, and these are even new. That's why the lighting got better. And that's all because of the Patreon supporters. You guys have helped pay for all this stuff, so it's awesome. But thank you so much. Moose Gal, question, boom. Chicago may become the largest city in the U.S. to try universal basic income. It's an article that was in The Intercept by Zaid Jalani, July 16, 2018. I have not read that article. Thank you for sending it my way. I've read a lot of Zaid Jalani stuff. I really like him. There's a handful of people, Glenn Greenwald, obviously, at The Intercept that I really like. As we've talked about, The Intercept is sometimes they feel a little corporate media-ish, but there's a couple journalists there that are staying true to it. That is fantastic. I did not know that, but I'm going to look into that because I would love it. And this is the thing we've talked about. You got to do it on the local level. We kept expecting the federal government to sweep in and just change everything. Wouldn't that be great? Well, we could have had a progressive in the White House, but the DNC screwed him over. So now we've got this lunatic. But this is how it needs to be done. It's like municipal broadband. We've talked a lot about that. Chattanooga has the best Wi-Fi of any city anywhere in the country. $50 a month. Chattanooga. Not Portland, not San Francisco, not LA, not New York, not someplace like that. Chattanooga. So this is why I say over and over and over, get involved on a local level, because you can support things like this, like universal basic income that they're talking about doing in Chicago. I'll do a whole video on it. I'll read the article and I'll do a whole video on it. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Moose Gal, because I would love to see universal basic income. Boom. Andrew Sweet. Let me go back. More questions from Mooskow. So, where is it? When in Seattle did I meet Kashama Swant? I did not. Love to meet her though. Google takes part of your YouTube super chats, or do you mean YouTube? Here's what I mean. Google owns YouTube. So when you guys donate on the super chats like today, which I very much appreciate, they take a percentage of the money. And it's a great way to support the show, and I appreciate the support that I get from these when you guys ask the questions. And if you're new to this, if you hit the dollar icon, you can ask me whatever question and I'll answer it. It's a great way to support the show. But they do, in full disclosure, they do take a percentage. That's why if you don't want to give Google money, since they own YouTube, I would go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood. Some of you have even just sent me cash through the P.O. box, and I appreciate that. So I hope that answers your question, Mooskow. Andrew Sweet, boom. Come to the metropolis of Bowmanville, Ontario. LA is too far away, plus I won't leave Canadian space. I would love to come do more shows in Canada. Ron Placone and I are actively looking to do shows. We really want to come down to Florida since Tim Canova's there, and that's what we're looking to do. So we want to come, and everyone's like, come to this town, come to that town, and I appreciate that. Keep telling me what cities you want us to come to. We're looking at Salt Lake City, I'll be very honest with you, because we've gotten a lot of interest there. And, you know, we had such success on the last Progressive Comedy Tour, going through red states, basically. So, you know, there's also Portland, we'll hit there, Vancouver, Canada, a lot of places like that. So we're going to keep coming. We're going to keep traveling. I like the progressive shows, man. The shows I did in Seattle and the shows I've done with Ron have been fantastic. And I'd rather perform in front of, you know, 60, 70 progressives that are all there to see us, that love everything we're doing, versus 200 people in a comedy club, and I got to kind of convince them, and they're like, whoa, he's too political, and then there's some bachelorette party, and some dummy guy thinks he's funny, and they're ruining the show. You guys are like in it. It was so funny. I'll tell you a great story. When we did Political Vigilante Live, we're backstage, and I was telling Mike Schmidt, my friend who was on the show, who's admittedly like, Graham, I need more information. He's trying to wake up himself. That week he and I spent together and doing the Political Vigilante, he really started to wake up. But we're backstage, and I said, this is the part we'll do the Q&A. And he's like, well, what happens if nobody asks a question? I said, Mike, that's highly unlikely. He goes, I know, we just need a backup plan, because we've done those. You know, he was at a Q&A we did for our documentary, Earbuds, the podcasting documentary, which he is in. If you haven't seen it, watch it. And we did the San Francisco Doc Festival, which was awesome. And after the screening, we were the Q&A, and everyone was afraid to ask questions for a little bit, and people finally started. But I go, Mike, I doubt that'll be a problem. I go, when I do these shows, these progressives got a lot to say. And I told him, and he was like, wow. All right, any questions? Like a bunch of hands went up, and people have all these things they want to talk about, and that's what I love. That's what I love about the live shows. That's what I love about this. So yes, we will try to come to your town and do live. Do live Political Vigilantes, and as David Lazarus just said, yeah, that's what I'm going to keep doing. I'm going to take the live shows and cut up segments and put them on YouTube and Daily Motion for everybody, but the full show will go to the Patreon supporters. So in addition to getting your free bonus video every week and early access to the podcast, you're going to get the full live show that no one else gets. So that's cool at the $10 level. And I really want to start doing one live Political Vigilante a month. That's really what I want to start doing, and I'm looking at different venues in LA here to start. So Ron Placone and I are looking to do shows at perhaps Flappers, because Jimmy Dore does a lot of shows there, and I just spoke with someone at the West Side Comedy Theater, which is in Santa Monica. So more, and any live Political Vigilante show I do, I will absolutely videotape it and put content online for you guys. Liberal discord. Why do you think Bill Maher invites people from all sides of the political spectrum, but never people like Jimmy Dore or Kyle Kulinski? That is a great, it's probably not even a question. It's more like a statement. Maybe you guys are in the middle of something. Yeah, but that's exactly why we're doing this. You know, comics like, you know, Jimmy and I, well, oh man, we want to be like Jon Stewart and we want to be like Bill Maher. And then Bill Maher went all neoliberal. Jon Stewart retired. And that's why we have to do this. There is nobody doing what we're doing. It's literally Lee Camp, Kyle Kulinski, Jimmy Dore, me, and Ron, and maybe Tim Black. Like, actual working comedians who've been doing this a long time, being progressives and doing independent media. It's crazy that not enough people are doing this. It really doesn't, it blows me away. And like Bat Mashups just said, Bill Maher is not interested in the real truth. No, he's not. He's out there blaming Jill Stein. He's perpetuating that bullshit. That's just bull. I don't know how Bill Maher's a smart guy. I don't know how he can sit there and say that with a straight face. I really don't get it. I've never understood that. I remember in 1996, I voted for Bill Clinton in 92, and I was like, I'm done with this guy. In 96, I voted for the Libertarian candidate, and friends of mine were like, oh man, you're going to help Bob Dole win. I said, no, I'm not. I'm so sick of this. Like, there's only these handful, you know, the Democrats, we just own your vote. It's so Bill Maher, and that's what we're doing. We're trying to put more of this out there, and I want it to be not just news, but I want it to be funny. I want a late night comedy talk show type vibe that talks about progressive issues. What my real long-term goal with my YouTube channel, I'll be very honest with you, I want to grow it up to get millions of subscribers and be like TYT in the sense that it has a bunch of shows, but not just news shows. I want to have scripted, like episodic content, like a sitcom, you know, but it's funny. It's got progressive socialist issues in there. It's comedically pointing out the bullshit of all this neoliberal nonsense. You know, wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't you love? Because, you know, like I watch like Orange is the New Black, and I really like that show because it really calls out the corruption of the private prison industry. But there's not a lot of stuff doing that. You know, and all of the Russia hysteria. So that's what I want to do. I mean, I want to have scripted dramas and movies and sitcoms and variety shows and covering sports and entertainment, but from a progressive independent media point of view. You know, like the movie I highly recommend is Sorry to Bother You. That's a really good movie. And then I talked about it on the Comedy Film Nerds podcast. That's a really good movie because what it does, it calls out capitalism. It shows the corruption and how easily people can be bought. It's a fantastic thing. I highly recommend it. All right. Jeff Epstein, excuse me, from Citizens Media TV. He's the guy that I've had the several modern monetary theory conversations about. He's woken me up to that. He brings up an interesting point. Universal basic income is the billionaire's dream come true because it doesn't change their behavior at all. Maybe. Interesting. I'm open to the idea of universal basic income. And if it could change, I'm curious as to how, let me scroll down here, Jeff, because I want to hear what you have to say. Boom. This is an interesting discussion. Here we go. Bosses. Oh, okay. Forcing. Okay, so Jeff Simon is saying let's see, it's money with no strings attached. It creates a public competitor to private industry, forcing them to be better than the minimum. In other words, it gives people the power to finally stand up to their bosses and not take their shit anymore. UBI is basically a coupon for suffering less. UBI is a supplement. however reasonable, but by itself, no way. Huh, interesting. I'd like to know. I've read some stuff about universal basic income, and it's a reasonable thing. These are reasonable questions to bring up. We shouldn't just idly go for anything. Just giving people money, and I understand they're like, oh, they're just, people will all be freeloaders. I agree with you that there needs to be a lot of other infrastructure or stuff around it. But and I also agree with you that the power of the worker is in that they can go on strike, they can resist and force management to give them. It would really depend, what the dollar amount was, what was included in that, what requirements anyone had. I've read some universal basic income models that were like, you get this amount of money and then you have to do this amount of service for your community. That I'm down with. You can't just get a free check. You have to, like, all right, so you don't have to technically work, but you have to participate in your community in this capacity. You have to, and I think that's interesting. It's an interesting thing, and it's an interesting thing to bring up and to find the best model for that solution. But then I've heard some billionaires be against it. I've heard some capitalists be against universal basic income. So that makes me automatically go, well, then it must be a good thing if they're against it. So that's an interesting thing that you bring up, Jeff, and I appreciate you bringing that up, and that's one of the things that I love talking about on this show. Please check out Citizens Media TV. Jeff and I are also in the process of scheduling another Skype interview. So those are good things that you bring up, Jeff. I appreciate that. What else do we got here? Wizard John brings up this point. Universal basic income isn't supposed to change billionaire behavior. Taxing them heavily to reduce their power is but one step towards that. Interesting point. Oh, I see. Versus federal FJG, federal jobs guarantee. Ah, I see. That's a good point. So let me go back and read what Jeff said here, because let me understand it. So universal basic income is billionaires' dream come true because it doesn't change their behavior at all. It's money with no strings attached. Federal jobs guarantee creates a public competitor to private industry, forcing them to be better than that minimum. In other words, it gives people the power to finally stand up to their bosses and not take their shit anymore. Universal basic income is basically a coupon for suffering less. UBI is a supplement to federal jobs income, however, is reasonable by itself, no way. Okay, I understand what you're saying way better now. Yes, that's a great point. A federal jobs guarantee, putting everybody to work. This is the thing we've talked about. Everybody gets a job, and then it gives competitors. That's a great point, because that's the only thing that makes the billionaire capitalists. You start cutting into their bottom line, and no one wants to work for them anymore because there's all these good-paying federal jobs with benefits and all that other stuff. That's a great point, Jeff, and thank you for bringing that up. Don't worry, I'll be, I know I owe you a couple emails to figure out scheduling for our Patreon, our Skype talk, but we'll do that. I love having our discussions. And yeah, great point. God, I love this. You guys bring up all these excellent points, and we all have a cool discussion about it. Basil Peterson, namaste, brothers and sisters. PS Xbox Gamer, Graham, the whole Russia thing is nonsense. How can a few ads on Facebook change a vote on a ballot? Oh, God. Isn't this crazy, too? Showing what the madness of the world we're living in? Because what it is doing is it is showing everybody that a bunch of tech billionaires, unelected tech billionaires, are dictating who gets to say what and who doesn't, right? And then they get to determine who says this and what. And then Jimmy Dore's even showed it. They've spent Russia spent $100,000 on Facebook ads. Oh man. Boy, that completely drowned out Hillary's $1.5 billion. I can't even, these tech billionaires are the worst because they wear, you know, hoodies and they're hipsters and we're all supposed to like them. They're bullshit. They're bullshit. They're just a wolf in sheep's clothing. They're just wearing a different, they have a different uniform. Their uniform is skateboard shoes and hoodies instead of a three-piece suit. So we're supposed to trust them more? You know, because they have an open campus where everybody just hangs out and, you know, there's still billionaire assholes that are screwing people over. It's bullshit. Matthew Sevilla, good question. If you guys think they're just censoring Alex Jones, they're not. They're also censoring people on the left. They're not even let me post progressive news on Facebook sometimes. This censorship is very dangerous. Yes, this censorship is extremely dangerous. I was watching Caitlin Johnstone got pulled from Twitter and I believe got put back on. I don't know if they've pulled her again. But she was critical of John McCain and they pulled her from Twitter. You know, I don't like Alex Jones at all. I don't agree with the guy. He says some crazy shit, but here, you know how I get to censor Alex Jones? I just don't follow him. I don't click, I don't listen to him. You know, you guys are all aware of this, but it bears repeating. In this digital age, the best way to support is like clicks, follows, likes, reposts, retweets. Those are that data is quantifiable. That data, those clicks and follows, the more followers I get, it helps me. The more people that watch this live stream and donate money to it and go to the Patreon and the downloads I get on the pod, that all helps. So I don't support people that I don't believe in. I don't follow, like you know, Trump, I hate Trump, so I'm going to follow him on Twitter. No, I'm not. I'm not going to give him that. I'm not going to like his tweets. I'm not going to say anything. Just don't listen. There's so much crappy noise out there I don't listen to. I don't watch Fox News. I don't watch MSNBC. Unless I'm watching one of those channels just to like get a story to talk about how full of shit they are for this. But if they can do that to Alex Jones, man, like I've said, they can do it to Julian Assange. They could do it to you. They could do it to Rachel Maddow. They could do it to Sean Hannity. They could do it to anybody. It's crazy. It's crazy what they're doing. And it is censorship, and they're censoring all of us. I'm still stuck at 9,700 subscribers. I've been at 9,700 subscribers for months. It's ridiculous. I'm posting content every day. I mean, I had a week or two when I wasn't posting as much because I was getting this set up. But for the most part, I'm dropping content every day. I'm getting hundreds of views. It's preposterous what they're doing. It's just completely preposterous. Proud Foots, thank you so much for supporting the show, you guys. Very much appreciated. Deplatforming Caitlin Jones, Telesur is not about a slippery slope. It's a freaking cliff. Yeah, that's a great point. I forgot to mention that. Telesur, they've just blocked them on Facebook. The network that does all of this, like, pro-socialist stuff, Abby Martin calling out anyone that isn't up straight up. It's unreal. Yeah, you're right. Proudfoots, it's not a slippery slope. They're just chucking it off a cliff. And tech billionaires, in secrecy, are making this decision. Congress isn't involved. They're just deciding who can do what, whenever they want. That's what they're doing. It's crazy. And I don't, I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. So, well, I I do get that the powerful, the deep state, the corporate state, whatever you want to call them, is doing this. They're censoring people. What I don't get is everybody just allowing it to happen. You know, they're not going to censor Rachel Maddow or Sean Hannity because they play ball. They push the corporate agenda. There's no footage of Rachel Maddow crying about the 20 kids that were killed on a school bus that was hit with an American-made rocket that was shot by the Saudis. Because she's not going to call them out for that. Because she's paid to play ball. Bill Maher is paid to play ball. They all are. That's what blows me away. Thank you, Proudfoots, for supporting the show. You're right. It's not a slippery slope. It is a freaking cliff. Going back to UBI, David Lazarus writes, UBI can be paid for by scrapping personal tax allowances and eliminating disincentives to getting work for the unemployed. Though with the levels of underemployment, it makes little difference. Well, yeah, I think that's an interesting point, and I guess I gotta, just in thinking about it right here, right now, I'd have to agree with what Jeff was saying about UBI in conjunction with the federal jobs guarantee could be a good thing, you know? And somebody that really is, right now they're on disability or whatever, like if somebody is mentally not capable or physically not capable, you know, it's an interesting thing to discuss. And I'm glad we're bringing it up and having this talk, and you guys are bringing up very logical, salient points. Let's see what we got here. Marcia Smith, Flappers is a cool venue. I look forward to being able to see you guys soon. Absolutely. Basil Peterson, one person has $150 billion. That would be Jeff Bezos. There are 7 billion people on the planet. This does not add up. Absolutely. It's insane. It's insane. It's insane. Thank you for bringing it up. Bat mashups. How worried, boom, is everybody about climate change? To me, it makes everything else a moot point. I very much agree with that, because it doesn't matter about any of these other things if we don't address climate change. And it's something we should address, because if we look at what's going on, right? So we're having, Northern California is having the worst fires in California history. You know, they said that last year, the massive fires last year. They said these are the worst fires ever. We had what, how many? 7 hurricanes or something last fall? Houston, Florida, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands. I don't know what it's going to take. Somebody else just posted here. 10,000 plus forest fires in Siberia this summer. 1,000% increase in 10 years. Yeah. I don't know how verifiable that is. 10,000 seems like a lot. But regardless of if that statistic is accurate or not, and if it is, please send a link to an article. But I don't doubt that there's a huge increase in forest fires. The 17 hottest years on record have all happened since the year 2000. What does that tell you? What does that tell you where we're at? You know? So I agree that the environment is the most severe issue, because if it keeps going in this direction, you know, it's really hot in LA, and it keeps getting hotter. And what are we going to do when it's 115 degrees, 120 degrees? and fires burn through major cities. What are we going to do? And all the fire departments are every time there's big forest fires in any of these western states, all the fire departments are maxed out. And other fire departments are sending fire trucks up there, and people are responding from other states. What happens if California and Arizona, Nevada, and Oregon are all up in smoke? What do we do? Where are we getting fire departments from then? So it is a very good point, Bat Mashups. And it's something that it's something we all need to pay attention to. Thanks for asking that question. Now, I've heard some people say, look, I want to fight to get election reform going. I want to get corporate money, you know, out of politics, because without that, then we can't pass legislation to address the environment. I see that point. But I think the environment should be motivated to try to address anything else. But we're going to need a massive, global initiative to address this. Otherwise, the next 10, 20 years are going to be, these forest fires we see now are going to seem like a cigarette in an ashtray compared to what they can be. Like, it can keep getting worse and worse, and we don't understand what that is. You know, so I don't know if that's what's going to wake people up, but there's, you know, if you watch the documentary Collapse with Michael Rupert, he talks about when the Titanic was sinking, there was 3 groups of people. There were people who were just flipping out, running around crazy. There were people who were like, oh, we'll be fine, sipping their tea, you know, playing the band, still playing. And then there were people going, hey, what do we do? How do we get off this boat? He goes, I want to focus on those people. So I think that's what we got to do, and it's good you're bringing that up and we're all talking about it here, because we need, and while everybody here, obviously, I'm assuming is involved or cares. So it's all the little things we do in our daily lives and all the legislation on the local level. I keep going back to this. But cities, countries are banning single-use plastics. Companies get businesses to ban single-use plastics. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So that's how we have to address it. Stop purchasing single-use plastics. It's hard. It's hard. Single-use plastic is everywhere. But get a refillable water bottle, right? Use one of these. I just bought a new board shorts made from recycled plastic bottles. It's things like that. But getting your town, your school board, your company that you work for, the coffee shop you go eat at, to just change its policy, you know? Get the city to ban single-use plastics. Just go to the store owner and say, hey, you guys should do this. Give them some research, give them some information. That can do it. Oh, wow. This is a horrible person that needs to get blocked immediately. Report. Hate speech. There you go. Basil Peterson, Bat Mashups. I have an off-grid farm in the Finger Lakes, New York. Climate change is all I think about every day. Yeah. Bernard Foster, all tech bros aren't bad. Me being one, I love your content. I'm not saying all tech bros are bad. I'm saying tech billionaires. Because here's the thing I'm not seeing technology do. I'm not seeing these startups and all the venture capitalist money. I was talking about this with some people after the show Saturday in Seattle. This one woman, her and her boyfriend have worked in that, or heard specifically, it sounded like she'd worked a lot of that in algorithms, and I think she said she went to Stanford, is like, and I see this a lot, these tech startups, why aren't they developing, and again, this is the billionaires, not the people that work there, but like, why aren't they putting all of their resources into the technology that can help reverse climate change? Instead, it's like this new app to buy food and this new app to work out with, and oh, okay, those are fine. But how about an app that helps end poverty or homelessness or something like that? How about technology that can reverse the effects of climate change? How about stuff like that? I'm not seeing it, and the venture capitalist money isn't going into it. So that's where the tech billionaires need to be held way, way, way responsible for this, because they're fucking billionaires, man. Just because they have a fucking hoodie doesn't mean they're any different than Trump or any of these other assholes. Elon Musk gave money to the goddamn Republicans and the Democrats. They all did that. They're just hedging their bets. I think. Jeff from Citizens Media TV. Jeff, thank you so much for supporting the show. He said there are 3 more UBI comments above. Okay, let's get those going. Okay, this is from Jeff Epstein at Citizens Media TV. Federal jobs guarantee is critical, and universal basic income is terrible on its own for another reason. Universal basic income dramatically increases demand with no direct increase in supply. Federal jobs guarantee increases supply/productivity. Universal basic income is inherently inflationary. If federal jobs guarantee was in place in 2008, the recession would have never happened or been like 5% of what it was. That its primary benefit, it prevents deep recessions. That's a good thing. Because as soon as people are fired, laid off by private industry, federal jobs guarantee ramps up. As people are hired by private industry, it shrinks. That's the fundamental concept of federal jobs guarantee. Awesome. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. Sounds like a bunch of hippie bullshit. But no, that's a good thing to explain what a federal jobs guarantee is versus universal basic income. And like I say, and as you're saying, it sounds like that universal basic income and federal jobs guarantee working together are the best option. I like a federal jobs guarantee. Yeah, exactly. If the economy's going well, you shrink it. If it's bad, it increases. But we can't, how can we pay for it, Jeff? Come on, you know what I'm talking about. Modern monetary theory, not to mention, regardless, cutting the military budget. Stop spending so much money on war. That'd be nice. Nima Earl, hi, I like knowing what time it is. 3:48 p.m. Pacific time. Austin Zappas, I hate to be a bummer, but it may be already too late. Drastic action now is what's needed. Nothing short of halting all contributing factors will even make a dent. Even then, there's so much to do. Well, I understand that when looking at climate change, it seems very daunting. But I think there's solutions out there we haven't even dreamed of. Just like when I was a kid, live video chat, this wasn't even, I was a kid in the 70s and 80s. This wasn't even a thing. There's stuff we haven't even thought of. So that's, again, going back to being critical of the tech billionaires. If they put hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars into research, someone would come up with something like, oh, here's the thing to just, that whatever, sucks up smog and gets rid of it. I'm just brainstorming science fiction stuff right now, but think of all the stuff that exists today technologically that we never even dreamed was possible. So I think there's solutions out there that we never even thought of. I'll give you a great example. In the early 1900s in Washington, D.C., there was a huge problem. Everyone had horse-drawn carriages of horse manure. It was everywhere. It was on the streets. It became a huge political issue. Politicians in D.C. were like, how do we fix this? And blaming each other and doing all this crap. And then this one person said, there's this guy, Henry Ford, that's come up with this horseless carriage in Detroit. I don't know. Let's look into that. And overnight, everybody went to the car and the manure problem was solved. Now, obviously, cars are a big creator of harmful emissions, which are why we have, but my point is, nobody looking at the manure problem 100 years ago saw the solution of less horses on the road, right? So that's my point. If we need to put more money and research into it, going back to Bat Mashup's point of the environment is the most important thing, that's why it would be like, hey, Bezos, Facebook, all you billionaires, you need to put money into technology that's going to reverse climate change. Hold them accountable. Vote with your dollars. I went a couple weeks ago, I went to a Whole Foods for the first time in months. Amazon Prime customers get this and this and the shelves, and I was just like, I couldn't do it, man. I was just, and you know, today I went shopping at my local little hippie Whole Food market. It's not a Whole Foods, it's a health food store. It's a little local market that has a lot of organic stuff and whatever. And I'm glad I gave them my money instead of Jeff Bezos. And this is what they need to be doing. We need to just scream as loud as we can. Walk out. Mass walkouts, mass, you know, ban boycotts, stuff like that. That's what it's going to take. Citizens Media TV, universal basic income on its own is basically a Trojan horse for eliminating all social safety net programs. That's good to know. We got to ask questions. We got to be suspicious. Where's David Went? David Went just supported the show. Sorry, this robot. I'm fighting with robots. David Went, thank you so much for supporting the show. Boom. Where is your thing again? It just disappeared. Come on, robots. David Went, thank you for supporting the show, just wrote, God damn it. Ah, now it's being stupid. Okay. Gwen Dwyer describes what to expect in the coming years in his book, Climate Wars. Thanks for suggesting that book. The geopolitical implications like mass migrations and resource wars are as frightening as global warming itself. That's an excellent point. And that's the thing. When conservatives are like, it's a bunch of liberal hooey, I go, the Pentagon has had in place program, you know, they've done research on the security risks of mass migrations, of climate change destabilizing governments. It's an excellent point that you're bringing up, and I know you follow it with, when I brought this up, you said it's going to take more than technology. You say this, David Went, technology will not save us. It will take too long. Our only hope is immediate reductions in CO2 emissions. Check out Kevin Anderson on Twitter, YouTube. No, I'm not. Let me make something clear here. I'm not saying technology will save us and let's just wait for technology to be developed. I mean, we got to come at this problem from every angle, right? So there's technology out there that we should be putting into this. There already I mean, Green energy, I've already said this numerous times, is a form of technology. Solar panels, and like any technology, it gets faster, it gets smaller, and it gets cheaper. So we need to put our own money into that, our own resources into that. The tech companies, we need to do all this. We need to put pressure on the tech billionaires to put money behind this stuff. The federal jobs guarantee, it should be the Green New Deal that's building wind turbines and solar panels and all that stuff. We could put everybody to work in this country right now, today, building green technology that could save us. We got to pass legislation. We got to do all this thing. It's all of it. That's what I'm saying, David. And you bring a valid point, but I'm saying we need all of this. We need the technology behind it. We need legislation. We need to ban it. We need to boycott stuff. We need to petition our own. We need to go to only support businesses that do this kind of thing. You know, go to the local stores you go to and say, have you guys ever thought about, you know, getting rid of single-use plastics and getting compostable plastic that's plant-based plastics? You know, fast food store or just restaurants, you know, that have plastic forks and knives. There's plastic out there that you can put in compost heap. Those are the things we need to do. So I'm not saying technology is the lone solution. I'm saying it's one of many solutions. And thanks for supporting the show, man. Yeah. Michael Stiegel Jr., half of the $95 billion that is used for the military can be used for reversing climate change. Oh my goodness. We spend over $700 billion a year. You're trying to tell me we couldn't peel off a couple $100 billion of that? Or as Jeff from Citizens Media TV explains, the modern monetary theory videos that we've done, they could just say, here's more money. Vote green. Nixon started the EPA after Cuyahoga River in Cleveland, Ohio caught on fire because of the steel industry. Good point. Stable, genius, progressive. 8 billion people on Earth and growing, and we're going to make this work out somehow with our climate and other species? Yeah, right. Well, I understand where that cynicism comes from, and I have had these conversations with friends all the time recently, like maybe we're done, maybe the human race is over. I don't buy it though, and I still come back to this. There's a fixable, if the whole planet got together and every government and every business and everybody did it together, we could do it. We could reverse this. And maybe it's like China used to do. You can only have one child. Maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe there's stuff like that. So, Bat Mashups. Good on you, Bat Mashups. Thank you so much for supporting the show and bringing up climate change. It's a good topic to talk about, and I appreciate what everybody's saying. Even the like we're all doomed cynicism. I appreciate it. We should say that out loud, because that's part of the problem. Is this denial? We're in denial about climate change, and people need to hear. Oh, I don't know if we can fix this. I don't think that's the answer. Is to just go, well, there's nothing we can do, and then what? Just YOLO and don't do anything about it. That's just not who I am. But it's good to say that because people need to understand how severe this is. And look at the numbers on this. A big public federal jobs guarantee like program at the end of the Depression had the people plant more than 2 billion trees in just a few years. That's the kind of army the federal jobs guarantee could create to fight. It's a great point. Going back to see how I always talk about everything's connected. Federal jobs guarantee, the climate change, how are those connected? Boom. What if we put the whole country to work? That's what FDR did. That's what a real progressive leaders could do, is put everybody to work, man. You know, tell the auto industry, no more gas cars. You guys need to come up with better things. And people can go to work and you'll make money and all that other stuff. We're building high-speed rail coast to coast. We're building an infrastructure of water pipelines. So whenever there's a flood and there's drought, we fix that problem, right? Any part of North America is dealing with floods right now? Okay, get that take that water from there, send it to where California's on fire or something like that. When Georgia had those bad droughts maybe 5-10 years ago. See those solutions? And a federal jobs guarantee could be part of that. Good point. Moosegal, Graham, why do you think blue states such as California and New York aren't really all that progressive with Democratic majorities? Because the Democratic Party is not progressive. It's a great question. But they're not, the Democratic Party isn't progressive because the Democratic Party gets money from the oil industry and big pharmaceuticals and the war machine just like the Republicans do. That's why. The corporate machine controls everything. So the corporate machine creates these two professional wrestling characters, the Republican conservative wrestling character and the liberal wrestling character. But they're all bullshit. They're not, the Democratic Party hasn't been really progressive in 40 or 50 years. They keep moving to the right. The Republican Party keeps going way right, and then the Democratic Party goes, oh, well, we don't want to disrupt anybody, and they go, the corporations have bought up everybody. That's why. That's why all these neoliberals are like, they want to arrest Julian Assange. They don't even realize what they're saying. They've been so lied to and fed all this bullshit, they don't even realize how crazy it is what they're saying. Good point, though. Polish hammer polish, sorry. We don't elect leaders that will help fix the problems. We elect game show hosts because America loves drama, and Trump is the biggest drama queen of all, the belle of the ball. But he's nothing. We could get somebody worse than him. That's what I say to my neoliberal friends. Like, oh, we got to stop Trump. He's awful. Yeah, Trump is awful. I don't like him. I don't like him. But if we just get anyone in there. Who? Like Elizabeth Warren, who signed $80 billion to give Trump to the war machine? Yeah, but she won't do all this stuff with immigration. And okay, yeah, you're right, but she's still giving money to the war machine. She's not a real progressive. Or the Democrats will run, they're going to cheat some other progressive in 2020. They're going to run some other fucking idiot like Joe Biden or whatever. And maybe they'll win the presidency, maybe they won't. Everyone, if they beat Trump, yay, we did it. And then they'll still just be passing the same bullshit legislation. They'll give a couple little table scraps to us progressives and tell us to shut the fuck up and get in line. David Wint just brought up a good point. Regarding climate cynicism, Chris Hedges said, I do not fight fascists because I will win. I fight fascists because they are fascists. Exactly. Look, guys, we're all going to die. Nobody here gets out alive. Every human being on this planet, we're all going to have our last day on this earth. So why not fight for it? I don't know. Maybe I'm going to live another 30, 40 years. Maybe I'm going to die tomorrow of a heart attack. I don't know. But I'm going to look myself in the mirror, and if there is a creator or a God or whatever, when I die, I can look that person in the eye and go, hey man, I tried to save this planet. I tried. And I just don't buy the, like, I fight for what's right. Doing this show has cost me money. It's cost me jobs. I've been fired. I've lost some friends. But it's what's right. It's what's right. I could be trying to pursue more game show hosting and more being on a sitcom and doing some wacky sitcom. They'd pay me a shit ton of money. But I couldn't do this show. They'd tell me to shut up. Would I like to do comedy shows in front of 300, 400, 500 people? Yeah. But if I have to do 300 people and I can't be my true authentic voice and I can't speak the truth, I'd rather do 50, 60 people in a cool theater in Seattle and I believe and love and am proud of everything that I'm saying, every joke that I'm making. Thanks for bringing that up, man. Oh. I think the most vulnerable and poor humans will die, but we won't go extinct. That's what I think will happen. I don't know. Oh, that tastes Can you invite Cornel West? Yeah. I would love to have Cornel West on this show. He's fantastic. I'll try. But I mean, he would be, that cat is awesome. I've been following that guy for years. He's so on point. He's great. Those interviews he's done with Chris Hedges, those are fantastic, man. Bummed I missed you in Seattle. What venue were we at? We were at the Rendezvous, the Jewel Box at the Rendezvous, which was cool. I feel like we got a wingnut popping in here. Here comes a timeout. Time out, Wingbird. Marcia Smith, Black Socialists of America is an awesome group. Yeah, all these socialist organizations are popping up, which is so great. This is the thing. Let's talk about socialism for a little bit. You've got Black Socialists of America. You've got the Democratic Socialists of America. And I've said this before. The DSA is opening up new chapters all over the country. The state that has opened up the most, seen the biggest growth, Texas. The reddest of the red. And, you know, they came out, they sent representatives to a couple of the shows Ron and I did on the last tour in June. And man, it was awesome to see what they were doing. They came to Nashville, and I think they came to Asheville, North Carolina. And more people are saying it. You know, when Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez got elected, openly saying, a lot of people who are openly socialist have won in these primaries. And it's a big thing. That's what gives me hope. So it's cool you're bringing that up, you guys. And it's a thing that we need to listen to more and more of. You know? And it's not a bad word. Socialist. Oh, no. It's good you brought that up. Bye-bye, Isaac, yeah. Snork Y2K, DSA was also in Chicago. Sydney Samsara, Cornel West has about 50 years of I told you so's in the bag. Yeah, he's the guy that said Obama was just the first black leader of the American empire. It's a pretty bold statement. Pretty bold statement. Bluebell 51, I'm bummed you missed you in the Huntsville show. Yeah, I know, man. We finally come to Alabama and then you move. This is a good question. Are Trump, Kushner, and co. the beginning of a new political dynasty family? Well, you could argue that they have always been there. In the sense that one of the Trumps, I believe, is married to a Rothschild. That family is scary. I think Trump is just, yeah, he's a game show host and all that stuff, but he's been a billionaire. He's in the, you know, he's filed bankruptcy how many times? He's just everything that's wrong with America, and they could be a new dynasty family. They just replaced the Bushes with the Trumps. Oh, boy. I mean, we've all seen those photos of the Clintons and the Trumps and the Obamas and the Bushes all hanging out together. As George Carlin said, it's a secret club and you ain't in it. So, yeah, they could be forming a new political party. Or a new dynasty. I don't hope it's not a dynasty. If viable third and fourth parties aren't formed, like a working class or workers party, doesn't really come forward in America, and the Democratic Party just keeps giving into all this crap because they're paid to give into all this crap, then Trump could win a second term. Yeah. If Trump wins a second term because the Democrats they cheat again in their primary and put another neoliberal dipshit out there, maybe that'll be the thing to make people wake up to just fuck this and get rid of the Democratic Party. I don't know, man. I don't know. Polish Hammer, I haven't heard anything about Jared or Ivanka lately. Are they okay? Oh, yeah, they're ridiculous, but that's also part of it, too. They are a ridiculous family, and could they going back to the question, could they be a dynasty? Sure. Because the media loves them. Trumps are good for ratings. So they'll just keep this reality show drama going with this Trump and that Trump and Kushner and Ivanka said this and Melania said that and Trump tweeted this. That's regular news now, is reading Trump's tweets. Like fucking high school, man. Citizens Media TV, thank you for supporting the show. Fighting climate change is not short term. That is an excellent point. Profitable is not short-term profitable, especially because it does nothing to kill the petroleum industry. The entire point of federal jobs guarantee is to employ the masses. This is why natural unemployment is one of the most Citizens Media TV said, fighting climate change is not short-term profitable, especially because it does nothing to kill the petroleum industry. The entire point of federal jobs guarantee is to employ the masses to do unprofitable stuff. But since it dramatically empowers the people, the masters of the universe would rather kill our ability to live on the planet than let federal jobs guarantee pass. This is why natural unemployment is one of the most sinister things out there. Neoliberal terms out there, because if there was less than natural level, then it gets dangerously close to a federal jobs guarantee, and they don't want the people standing up, especially because it would kill the fossil fuel industry. Well, that goes back to that's a great point. And this is the thing that I've talked about, is tied into so much of what is happening, is the carbon bubble, right? I've said this before, I'll say it again. The governor of the Bank of England 3 years ago gave a speech and warned about the carbon bubble breaking. It's not when they run out of fossil fuels. It's when investors don't see long-term profitability in fossil fuels, right? So when they think, wow, so I'm going to pull all my money out of there, and he said it would cause a global economic collapse. It's why the thing with the pipelines aren't necessarily that we need them. It's to show the appearance that, oh man, keep putting your hundreds of millions of dollars of investment into oil because we're building new pipelines. It's as vibrant as ever. There's a whole bunch of oil, in the Arctic Wildlife Refuge, or as Justin Trudeau, when he was flown down to give his talk in Houston to a bunch of oil executives, said there's a bunch of oil under Canadian land, and made some joke like it'd be stupid to not drill. Everybody cheers. But yeah, he does yoga. He's one of the good guys. So what you're going back to here, Citizens Media TV, is federal jobs guarantee with a Green New Deal crushes the fossil fuel industry. Because here's why the fossil fuel industry pays so much money to just put an ounce of doubt. They're like defending a murderer who is guilty. Here's the knife, fingerprints on it, my DNA, video footage of me coming into the apartment with a knife. I leave, the police find a dead body, right? So they know they're defending a guilty person. But maybe he went in there and just dropped the knife off and has left his prints on there, and then the person killed themselves and they were wearing gloves. Maybe there's it. They just need that. That's why CNN will bring on a Bill Nye the Science Guy, and another point of view. That's why they think climate change is a debatable topic. The fossil fuel industry spends all this money because if everybody pulls all their money out, if not even that, not even pulls their money out, if all the media was speaking the truth, climate change is here, it's happening, it's dangerous, it's real, we are in a climate crisis right now, then everybody would immediately have to, because the science is irrefutable, pivot away from fossil fuels. And everybody would be done. I mean, every country, every municipality would go, no more gas, no more fuel, no more drilling. They would pass law after law. And consumers would just go, I'm done. You would see wholesale people just buying electric cars or taking public transport. It would just happen across the board in a short amount of time. So that's why they have to keep fighting this. It's all about the carbon bubble, which is the part of the petrodollar. And anytime, oh, there's some terrorist in the Middle East. No, it's somebody that doesn't want to use American currency anymore to trade oil. It's all tied in together. Thanks for bringing it up, Citizens Media TV. Basil Peterson, my chickens are socialists. That's good. Austin Zappas, we need ranked choice and independent exit polling too. That's a good point. That's another thing, going back to, yes, climate change is the most severe thing we need to address, and everything else isn't necessarily a moot point, as Bat Mashup said, because election reform is a big part of this. I think ranked choice voting and open primaries are great solutions. I did a video on this. I believe Maine is doing ranked choice voting. California, Washington, several other states do the top two system. I think that's what we need to have. We need to do that. You know, there's nothing wrong with runoff elections. There's nothing wrong with elections taking several days or a week to figure out. There's nothing wrong with that. There's like one 12-hour day on a Tuesday, on a work day. We need ranked choice voting. We need open primaries. We need to move elections. Tuesdays either need to be national holidays and everything's shut down, like New Year's Day or the 4th of July, or we move elections to the weekend. And they take place Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Vote by mail needs to be in every state. Ranked choice voting, all of that stuff, all of those things could really seriously help. And then we would have a more engaged democracy, which the powers that be do not want. They love that 40% of the population stays home and doesn't vote. They love it. They love it. It's easier to control. They want you too tired to work. They want you to live in a state that, I mean, we've seen videos on YouTube of at hacking conferences of teenagers hacking electric voting machines in minutes. So we need, again, this is why I think it's every little thing. We have to do every little thing. Petition to get voter reform, because you get voter reform, then you can get progressive policy in there. And technology. You know what I mean? All of it. Boom, shalakalak, boom. Canada is number 3 in the world oil reserve after Venezuela and Saudi Arabia. Whew. Saudi Arabia, our ally, so we'll let them go blow up school children in Yemen. Venezuela won't play ball with us. Oh, so they must have terrorism or socialism or one of the isms that is bad, and we need to go jam our freedom down their throats. Isn't that weird? It would be a great day. Hey, Joby Hernandez, good morning here from the Philippines. Man, I would love to come to the Philippines. Never been there. I want to do some international shows. Maybe let me ask you guys this. Since these tours cost a fair amount of money, obviously ticket sales can do it. Is there a Patreon tier you would want to support? Or is there just a separate crowdfunding like Indiegogo or Kickstarter to go do tours certain places, like an international tour. We go to Europe, we go to Asia, we go to Australia, where there's these big, you know, we got to buy $1,500, $2,000 plane tickets. Should I do something like that? Should I, and maybe Ron and I, set up an Indiegogo for international tours? I don't know. You tell me. What do you think of that? Maybe, again, maybe there's a Patreon tier, or maybe we just do a separate crowdfunding thing. You know, and we figure it out. So to go to Europe, let's say, and we do a bunch of shows in Europe, we need, I don't know, 10 grand for travel and for Ron and I to make money, because if we're gone for 2 weeks, we got to get paid, because how do we, is that something you guys would want to support? I don't know. What do you think? Maki Ragni. In Sweden, we have ranked choice voting and paper ballots. All the parties get a voice depending on their percentage from the election. They just started debating in August, and the election is September 9th. Wow. Cool. Okay. Let's see what you got to say to that. All right. Boom. Sounds good. Basil Peterson, fracking and tar sands is like going to a bar that has closed down and squeezing the wet carpet to get what's spilled. Oh God, that's horrifying. Your analogy makes me is gross, but a good one, and you make a valid point. Bernie 2020 will not be Bernie 2016, but not in a good way. Check out On Contact from 2 weeks ago with Nick Brana, People's Party founder and Bernie 2016 outreach guy. Good point. Moose Gal, when she votes in her town, she's paper ballots. Caroline Cicero, hey, what's up? Go Cubs. Well, here's a question that RSFO is asking Maki Ragni and I'll ask this question. What do you think of politics in Scandinavia? I'm from Copenhagen, and I don't think I will vote for any party anymore. Ooh, interesting. Interesting European debate. Snork Y2K, one of the chemicals for recovering tar sand fuel is better fuel itself. D, a Democrat lemonade. Nice. We're about 78 minutes, you guys. I live in Daytona Beach, and I haven't seen any MAGA hats, but I've seen a Bernie sticker. Right on. Now you're talking about the Cubs record, outstanding. So, Maki Ragni writes, if you have to vote, it's our voice, can't complain if you don't participate. I agree with that statement. Marcia Smith drives a 2010 Prius with a solar cell on the roof. Outstanding! That's the thing I want to see more. And this goes back now. I want to go back to this point. With the technology and getting behind the technology in helping climate change, right? I've said this before. I drive an electric car. I don't understand. No electric cars have a solar panel on the roof or the hood. This is what I'm talking about when I say I want to push technology, and why I say vote with your dollars. And I've said this when I go to car shows and I've emailed car companies. we have, it's not that, oh, it'll take too long in this instance. We have solar technology. It's here. We have electric cars. Put a goddamn panel on the car. Obviously, Marcia you did that yourself, but why isn't that mass produced? How hard would that be? Oh, it's not cost effective. I don't want to hear that shit. Make it cost effective. You know? Let's look into this. I mean, fuck Ted Nugent and all. It's sad he actually lives a more environmentally friendly way than your average electric car latte drinking liberal. Don't get me wrong. I don't drink lattes. I drink green tea. Xbox Gamer, Graham, the Conservatives in the UK have cut the NHS budget and selling it off to Virgin. That's the National Health System, I believe, which is their socialized medicine. So I'm glad you brought that up, because this is the thing that Jeremy Corbyn was talking about when he ran. The NHS was really good and vibrant, but they've slowly been cutting it down. The corporatists in the UK have been doing this, from my understanding. And now they're selling it off to Virgin. When they tell you, this is a general rule of thumb, when the government tells you privatization is better, it's only better for them and their corporate benefactors. It's not better for you and me. Just know that. And if you look at the smear tactics that they did with Jeremy Corbyn and are still doing, why? His socialism threatens their corporate money. That's what it's all about. Jeremy Corbyn's socialism threatens their corporate money. I'm glad you brought that up. I wasn't aware of that. Kimo Pu'uae. Aloha. I'm assuming maybe you live in Hawaii. I hope you do. So, Graham, how long until TrumpTube bans you? Maybe soon. I don't know. I'm wondering. I'm still on Twitter. I'm still doing this. Maybe I'm not big enough yet for them to come after me. I don't know. Yeah. Red Corvair, going back to the technology of the Prius and the electric car. They recuperate energy from the brakes, etc. Another great point. Regenerative braking is already in existence. They came up with this on the Prius. I bought a Prius in 2003. Every time you brake, it recharged the battery. They can't they can't cover the roof and solar panels? I'm repeating myself. Polish Hammer. I want to drive a green Mustang. The Mustang body with solar panels and an electric engine. Why is this not a thing? Great point you brought up. Going back to the technology, going back to the, profitability. They always say the profitability. They always say environmentalism and capitalism can't coexist. You know what Jaguar's doing? Jaguar is getting rid of gas cars, and they're coming out with all electric cars on all their body designs. They're bringing back the old, cool, long hood Jaguar body designs, all electric. So that's the thing. Why isn't this a thing? It can be a thing. Tesla went, I have some problems with Elon Musk, but the good thing I'll say about Tesla, he went, look, electric cars can be slick, look awesome, luxury, whatever. So ask Ford, why can't you make an all-electric with the big Mustang body? I had a 69 Mustang, man. That thing ripped. It was loud, big fat tires. That fucking thing ripped, man. It was awesome. I would kill to have that in an electric car. Electric cars are faster. My Kia is fast as shit. So that's a great question. I went a little car nuts there for a second, but Citizens Media TV, thank you so much for supporting the show. I wrote a brand new MMT Twitter tutorial. It's good if you don't mind me saying. Check it out, and viewers retweet if you like it. It's my pinned tweet on @Citizens Media TV. Go to @Citizens Media TV. Jeff is the one who several months ago educated me on modern monetary theory. He's talking to other economists and getting more informed about it. If you want good information about that, go to @CitizensMediaTV. Marcia Smith, yes, they can put solar panels on the roof of a car, and the tech is even better than 2010. Nice. Nice. David Wint, thank you so much for supporting the show. Boom, boom, boom. I'm pro-green tech, but the issue is that the planners are relying on the future invention of negative emission technology to suck CO2 out of the atmosphere. The technology does not exist yet. Yes, I agree, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to get behind it, because to me, innovation and technology is trying to find the thing that nobody can, that's not there yet. When JFK in 1960 said, we're going to put a man on the moon in 10 years, he didn't know. He didn't have a bunch of scientists and a bunch of plans saying, yeah, we can do this. It was just an idea. They were just like, maybe. And he said it, there's a lot of people in the space program going, what is the president talking? He's out of his mind. 10 years? He got assassinated, and they still did it. So my point is, to wait around, I agree with you, if this is what you're saying, to wait around with you, that let's just wait around and not do anything until they come up with this technology that, you know, what do you call it, negative emission technology to suck the CO2 out of the atmosphere. Yes, that's a mistake. That's dumb. But we should be getting behind it. We should be utilizing technology that we already have now, right? Solar panels on electric cars, solar and wind, put it into everything. And we should be trying to find this. We should be putting money behind this technology concurrently. It doesn't have to be independent of each other. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's a great point that you're bringing up, but my thing is keep going. Keep going with all of it. We have the money and the technology and the resources and the people to be doing all of this. It's like we shouldn't wait around for the government to pass this law and that law and this law. We should be pushing it ourselves. We should be voting with our dollars. We should be pushing, but that's what I'm saying. We could be doing both. Pushing to reform election to get progressives in the office, and leaning on tech companies to push this as well. We should be pushing municipalities to be using more green technology. We should be buying it ourselves. See, it's all of it. That's my point. Thanks for supporting the show, man. And this is a really cool thing to discuss. I really dig this. Andrew Sweet, figuring out cold fusion would be a big step. David Went, absolutely on all counts, but even if negative emission tech could be brought online in 10 years, it cannot. It would be too late unless we drastically ramp down CO2 starting now. Right, but that's, again, yes, ramp down CO2 now, today. Cut the emissions, do all of it. We have to do all of it. If every government said, no more gas cars by 2025, or, whoa, what happened? Whoop. What happened? Everything died, sorry. That was nuts. All right, settle down. Everybody settle down. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not at any point am I not suggesting just wait till this tech, do all of it, reduce emissions and put money into the technology. Saying that we can't find this technology, you flat out saying it cannot be done in 10 years, that's where I just don't agree. Because everyone has said, oh, we'll never do it, it's too far down the road. And then somebody comes up with something, there's some breakthrough, especially if you put money into the R&D, it could. You can't definitively say it cannot be done in 10 years. Even if a scientist says, it's like the patent clerk in the late 1800s that says every invention that's ever happened is already going to happen. Right? None of us knew what Uber was. We never car sharing. It wasn't even a thing in our collective consciousness until we all had taxis and public transportation. That was it. Then someone came up with Uber and we went, whoa, what's this? Lyft, what's this? Do you see what I'm saying? Yes, we got to reduce emissions. Absolutely. The thing I talk about all the time. You know, buy green technology cars. Ride your bike, take public transportation. Many of you, even today, are like, well, I live out in rural areas. I don't have access to public transportation. Find cars that run on vegetable oil. We got to do all of it. All of it. But to say there's no way that can happen in 10 years, I personally don't buy that, because I've just seen too many examples of when somebody says nope, and then, whoa, hey, look, it changed. It was different. You know? Am I thinking? David Lazarus, negative emission technology exists. It's called planting trees. Well, you guys, I actually got to go. We've been talking for 90 minutes, which is fantastic. I love doing this. Thank you all who supported the show. I hope you like the new studio. I want to try to see if I can get all of your questions to scroll up here or get a different logo. But anyway, this is different. It's new. You don't see my surfboard. I was surfing with Putin today. Just so you know, I don't want you to think I wasn't surfing with Putin. You know I love my Putin surf sessions. Yeah, David, I think we're talking, we're saying the same thing here. Yeah. Do not rely on something whatsoever until it does exist. Yeah, of course. But we should be developing. We should be doing several things at once. That's one of the things FDR did. He goes, guys, we're going to try a bunch of different things. Some of them aren't going to work. That's what I'm saying. Pass legislation, reduce CO2s, put money into research. Let's try to find that thing that we think can't be developed in less than 10 years. And maybe we can. Glad you like this setup, but let me no, here it is. Well, thank you, Jeff Epstein. It's producing Proudfoot, Citizens Media TV, David Wendt. Oh, Bethany Hunt. You know what? I never read this one. Boycott Google, use Acacia, boycott Amazon. You can live without it. Bethany Hunt, thank you so much for supporting this channel. I'm sorry I didn't read it. I'm reading it now. Boycott Google, use Ecosia, boycott Amazon. Yeah, I'm trying not to use Amazon anymore. I know I have an affiliate link and it brings me in money, not a lot. Maybe I am being a hypocrite. You guys tell me. If you think I'm being hypocritical, maybe I'll pull it. But you bring up a good point, Bethany. And I'm going to try to, if I haven't looked yet, maybe it does. But if Dailymotion has live streaming, I'll do this on Dailymotion instead. So, thanks for that. Bat Mashups, Citizens Media TV, Citizens Media TV again, David Wendt again. Thank you all for supporting the show. This is really cool. This is really cool. Thank you all, you guys. Carl Knight, Michael Stiegel Jr., all of us, Marsha Smith, Polish Hammer, the whole gang. So thank you guys so much for doing the show, for supporting it. Maybe somebody says, yeah, maybe I am being a hypocrite. Okay, it's a good point. Yeah, if I do switch this over to Dailymotion, I will. And the new IKEA catalog has Ziploc bags made from sugarcane and other packaging made from cellulose, tree, hemp, also furniture from captured air pollutants. Really cool technique. Cool? Yeah. Support it. Like I said, I bought surf shorts that are made from recycled bottles. All my paper, towels, toilet paper, Kleenex is all, I always buy stuff made from recycled stuff. That's what I always do. So I will do that. Don't forget Andrew Sweet. Polish Hammer, formerly known as Art Kozlinski. Oh man, Bat Mashups, thank you for supporting. If we say we raid Area 51 and steal all the alien tech, fly the fuck out of there. Who's with me? Yes. We're going to close the show on let's all meet at Area 51 and steal the alien technology and fucking get out of here. Maybe in there they've got the CO2 emission vacuum cleaner. that we were debating today. All right, you guys. So awesome for supporting the show. Bat Mashups and everybody. You guys are great. We'll see you all in Area 51. My name is Graham Elwood, and remember, let's make Gotham great again. Bum, 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 bum.